Welcome back to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and we're here recording this on Monday. You're seeing this Tuesday at least. So much Browns news to talk about. They're all over the news today. All over the news today. So this is going to be a Browns heavy episode. So buckle up, lock in, and let's talk about some Cleveland Browns happenings. But before we get into it real quick, just want to say thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up. The like button is the thumbs up. Y'all not hitting it. Go ahead and hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And I thank you in advance for doing that. Real quick, before we get into the Brown stuff, my bracket is crushed. Duke lost on a crazy buzzer beater. Braylon Mullins hit that 3-point shot from Connecticut. Crushed my bracket, took my hopes and dreams of a positive March Madness down with it. Arkansas lost to Arizona back on Thursday. That crushed my Final Four too. It wasn't close. And feels like Michigan just might be the best team in the nation. I know Arizona is going to have some feelings about that, but it's been a great tournament. Can't wait to see the conclusion of it, see what goes down, see how it happens. But my bracket is cooked. Duke let me down, which I should have expected anyway. Another boozer letting Cleveland down. Nothing new. Nothing new happens. No original moments have ever happened just in general. So whatever. But moving on from that, let's start. Where should we start? Let's start just first of all talking about all the Myles Garrett trade rumors that have just been permeating Browns Twitter, Cleveland Sports Talk Radio, the city of Cleveland in general. Is Myles Garrett going to get traded or not? And this became a story because between the Browns and Myles, they shifted around some money in his contract. The bonus that he was supposed to receive was supposed to be received on March 25th. They postponed it. They moved it. Now that money is going to come to him very close to the beginning of the regular season. And there's been talk, there's been statements saying this is for cap flexibility, this is for flexibility on the roster. And all it literally does in the short term is make it easier for the Browns to trade Myles Garrett. That's the only thing it does. So I understand why people are all in an uproar, thinking, speculating, considering if he's going to get traded or not. I understand, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Browns are going to trade Myles Garrett because I don't believe they're going to get, at least right now at this moment, I don't think they're going to get what they deserve to get for Myles Garrett. I don't think the Browns are going to get what they deserve if they did trade Myles Garrett. And that might be the reason that they put forward, or they were going to put forward a vote at the owners' meeting to be able to trade picks 5 years in advance instead of 3 years, because the type of value that you need to get back for Myles Garrett might not be possible for an NFL team to trade right now. It needs to be multiple firsts, seconds, a player. We're talking about maybe going to go down in history as the best defensive end of all time. It's very, very possible. He still has a little bit to go before we can call him that. Respect to Reggie White, respect to Bruce Smith. He still has a little bit to go. But if he continues on this pace, he just broke the sack record, single season sack record. So It's very possible that he can do that. But like I said, I don't think they're going to trade him. No, Max Crosby was going to go for 2 first rounders, and respect to Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. Even with how good Max Crosby is, Myles Garrett is that much better. So I can't really see a team being willing to part with 3 first rounders and some more stuff for an edge rusher, for a defensive end. That's what you would do for a superstar quarterback. Um, Unfortunately, that's what the Browns tried to do in getting Deshaun Watson. Anyway, um, yeah, the price tag is too high. They're not going to get the value back that they deserve. Um, and I just don't think they want to mess around with the locker room like this. I don't think they want to mess around with the fan base like this. And I know they probably don't care. They're not taking that into consideration. But if you can help it, don't piss the fans off. Um, like if if you're not gonna get fair value anyway, just don't do it just to do it. Um, they've been clear all week. Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam saying there's no plans to trade him. They're not considering trading him. So I just don't see that happening anytime soon. So we can probably leave that one alone, even though Andrew Berry was spotted talking to Philadelphia Eagles GM Howie Roseman. Next up, um, there there are a lot of people, and I kind of mix two things together. There's a lot of people talking about the Browns trading down from pick number 6. I see Kolb all the time on Twitter saying that it's likely that the Browns are going to trade down. I see Chops talking about they're going to trade down. Um, it's definitely on the board. It's definitely possible, but that's if you would ask me, that's not something I'm really interested in for the Browns. I want them to stay at 6, and I want them to take an offensive tackle. I would I would be because I even if Francis Managoa was on the board still for Miami, I at that point I would be willing to trade down so you could still get Monroe Freeland. Because I really like Freeling. I really want to see him at left tackle. Managoa is only played right tackle in college. It would be a big jump, a big switch for him to play left tackle in the NFL. I think he's capable. I think he could do it, but that's not something I want to experience if I could help it. And that's just my personal preference, personal opinion. Um, but I don't really want them to trade down. I don't want them to keep trying to get value. I want them to pick good players at these picks. I want the Browns to if it works out, it works out. I want them to try to get their franchise left tackle, and I want them to get their receiver later. I all respect due to Carnell Tate. I think he's wide receiver 1. Check out my mock draft on this channel. He's a top 10 guy in this draft. I just don't I the situation that the Browns are in, left tackle is a bigger need than receiver. And I understand receiver is a huge need, and this is going to be that draft to address that need later. And it's not that much later. You're still going to get a first round wide receiver. It just shouldn't be a 6. I don't think Carnell Tate is a number 6 overall type receiver. I want the Browns to stay put. I want them to take Freeling at 6. If Managoa is on the board and they decide that he's that guy, take him at 6. But I don't want them to come out of the top 10 without an offensive tackle, a left tackle specifically. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about that. I want Freeling. I want the left tackle. I don't want the receiver at 6. I don't necessarily want the trade down. I mean, of course, unless it's going to be some like an offer you can't refuse. You don't have to give up number 39, like something really good, really, really good, then so be it, do it. But the trade backs that I'm seeing going back to 12, but having to give up 39, that's not something I'm interested in. And speaking of the drafts, let's transition over to this. Matt Miller of ESPN released a 7-round mock draft, mocked every single pick, and he had I don't believe there were any trades in it. He mocked the Browns doing what I don't want them to do, had them taking Carnell Tate at number 6 and at 24, and this is how I know the national media does not pay attention to the Cleveland Browns and what they need. He had the Cleveland Browns at number 24 taking a corner, Brandon Sissy from South Carolina, who's a fine player. I'm not even sure he's a first rounder. If it was me, I would have him going in the second, but they have him going to us at 24, while Caleb Lomu from Utah was on the board when we were at 24. He ends up going number 27, I think, to the 49ers in that mock. Outrageous mock draft. And then they have us taking Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle out of Northwestern, at 39. And then almost the rest of the picks are on defense. They have the Browns taking a receiver, I think Kevin Coleman, in the 6th round, I think is what Matt Miller has the Browns doing. But it's really telling what the national media thinks about the Browns, because almost every mock draft I see goes 6, ignoring the fact that they desperately need an offensive tackle. But hey, they're not the only people that think that. Fans in Cleveland think that. People around the city think that. So whatever. But to take a corner at 24 is just heinous activity. You like, slot corner is definitely a need, but you're not, you can get that later in the draft. You could get that possibly at 39. You could get that in the 3rd round. You're not attacking your slot corner at 24. Especially when like, the most egregious part is Lomu was still on the board. Lomu was still on the board, and they had us taking a corner. So people aren't big fans of Matt Miller. I respect what he does for a living. I respect his work. Maybe not the biggest fan of his work, considering what we're talking about here, and earlier things to come from him, but you just can't do that. And I'm not, I did my own mock draft. It was only 1 round. It probably wasn't perfect. If you ask each team's fan base what they thought about mine, there's probably a lot of pissed off people. So I understand you're not going to hit what everybody wants their team to hit in a mock draft. I understand that and realize that, but this one is a miss. This one is a miss. Especially because if you're going to go and take a tackle for the Browns at 39, when a much better tackle was on the board when they had the pick, I just don't understand. But in that mock draft, Monroe Freeling fell to number 17 to the Lions. So if that's what the league is feeling like around Monroe Freeling, a a trade back might be a little bit more palatable for me, but I don't want to risk it. Going back to trading back, I don't want to risk that. So we'll see, we'll see. But this that Matt Miller mock just not one that I was happy with. That's just really tough to stomach given all of the Browns' needs on offense and how good the defense is and has been and hopefully will continue to be. It's just I don't understand it. Let's see what else do we have. All right. I've been trying to tell everyone. I said it on this podcast. I've posted it, I've posted the video, and I've posted that episode of the podcast multiple times on Twitter. Deshaun Watson is going to play real football for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know people are going to hear this. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset. I'm just letting you know to wrap your brain around the concept now so it doesn't hurt you when we get to September. It's going to happen. So today, excuse me, today I'm recording this Monday. You're seeing this Tuesday. Jimmy Haslam was talking at the owners at the the league meetings, and he said about Deshaun, because remember he said Deshaun was a swing and a miss. That trade, that experiment, that was a swing and a miss. Jimmy Haslam said those words, and on Monday he said it's possible for Deshaun Watson to go from a swing and a miss to a home run this year, and that he has a great chance and he'll have a fresh start to contribute for this team in 2026. And that's your owner. That's your owner who controls everything in the organization saying that about Deshaun Watson. And I told you guys he's going to play. Is he going to be the starter week 1? I don't know. Is he going to be the starter to end the season? I don't know. What is it going to look like? Again, I don't know. But there is real smoke behind him playing and starting football games in big 2026. I know everybody's excited about Shedeur Sanders. It's going to be really interesting to see what OTAs look like. There's going to be all kinds of fanfare around OTAs and what that looks like, who's getting the reps, who's going to start off getting the first team reps. Probably Shedeur. I would expect it to be Shedeur Sanders getting those first team reps. Coming from where we were at last year, for Shedeur Sanders to go in as the incumbent, getting the first team reps in practice is going to be just a whole different experience it's just going to be super different. But going into OTAs, I expect him to be the number 1 to start off, but it'll really be down to what it looks like on the field, what Todd Monken values. If this was 2020 and Todd Monken was the head coach and Deshaun Watson was the quarterback, it'd be a no-brainer. It would be a no-brainer. Deshaun Watson would be the quarterback, and we would be expecting him to have success because it feels like what Deshaun is the exact type of quarterback Todd Monken wants to run his system. But it's not 2020. It's 2026. It's been a long time since there's been productivity from Deshaun Watson on a football field. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be crazy that the media circus that is going to be surrounding Berea is just I don't think we're going to have ever seen anything like this, especially for a team that's going to have low expectations. If not, probably not low expectations inside the building from the organization, but low expectations from the media at large and the football world at large. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait. And by the way, Dylan Gabriel is still employed by the Cleveland Browns. He does still go here. So he's going to have to factor in somehow. He's going to be in these practices, in these meeting rooms, on this team. Todd Monken will have to comment on him at some point. I'm put this question out there. I still don't know. Has Todd Monken met Dylan Gabriel yet? Who knows? I don't know. There's been no pictures of it. There's been no video of it, but there's damn sure been video of Shedeur Sanders almost every single day from the Browns Twitter account and Instagram, if not every day, definitely weekly. So they're definitely keeping you engaged on all the news Shedeur Sanders, but nothing about Dylan Gabriel. I don't want to see him as a starting quarterback in Cleveland ever again. I wish him well elsewhere, just not here. So this is not me caping for Dylan Gabriel in the slightest, but we just have to consider that he still is on the team, still is employed by the Cleveland Browns, and has to somehow factor into this quarterback room. And the last thing I'll talk about is go out on a light note. Shedeur Sanders is going to change his number back to 2. He's going to be number 2 in 2026. Not a big deal, not a huge deal. This is huge news for anybody that bought a Shedeur Sanders or created a Shedeur Sanders Browns jersey very early on and made it with the number 2. Very, very great news for them. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Did we cut? Is DeAndre Carter? Did he get cut? Did he get cut during the season last year? I don't even remember. But DeAndre Carter's gone. The guy that wore number 2 last season kept it from Shedeur, which forced Shedeur to go to number 12. Yeah, not real news, but I felt like it was noteworthy because going back to my last point, Cleveland Browns couldn't wait to tweet, couldn't wait to make an edit, couldn't wait to post a video. Shedeur going back to 2. So is it newsworthy? No, but I mean the vibes around him from the Browns organization are extremely high. They love him. Feels like they love him. They are encouraged by him. I think Todd Monken spoke to reporters and said that or maybe it was Jimmy, that he's been in Cleveland. He's been working out at the facility every day. Been there most days in the off season. If not, there was a couple times he's been back to Boulder to see the family or whatnot. But yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. He's working hard, and hopefully he's preparing to position himself to be the Browns starting quarterback. It's not going to be something that's given to him. It's not going to be something that is his birthright by any means. He's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to beat out Deshaun. He's going to have to beat out Dylan Gabriel. He's going to have to beat out whatever other veteran presence they bring into the locker room, whether it's Anthony Richardson or Tanner McKee or whoever it could possibly be. But he's going to have to go out and earn it. He's going to have to earn it and make sure he has improved from what we saw in 2025. So that being said, appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And go check out my mock draft that's on the channel. Post it, share it, comment on it, like it, hate it, do whatever you want. So appreciate you being here. Thank you in advance for doing all that. And I will see you in the next episode.